You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 374 of Podketeers. This week we talk about how creators on TikTok are making stuff with 3D printers, including accessories for Crocs. We give an update on the Scarlett Johansson situation and whom we think would be a good fit for the rumored Tower of Terror reboot if she doesn't do it. We discuss how we feel about the first episode of the Marvel What If series on Disney+. Larry tells us about his latest trip to the parks, plus we kick off a new segment about Disney collectibles. We'd love for you to join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or on Twitter. Just search for Podketeers. But we'd like to invite you to join our growing community over on Discord. You can find an invite in the blog post for this episode at podketeers.com/374. Teamboat Willie is the official charity team of the Podketeers podcast, and we're participating in Walk for Hope to raise money to help find a cure for women's cancers. Our team donation page is ready to go. We'd love to have you on the team to help us fundraise, or you can use the same page to just make a donation. This is a really special event for us because we have family members and friends that have sadly suffered due to cancer, and this is our way of giving back and making sure that this disease just gets abolished. So if you want to help, please head over to teamboatwillie.com. The link is super easy to remember because it's just like Steamboat Willie, but without the S. Again, when you're on that page, you'll be able to just make a one-time donation, or again, we'd love for you to join our team and help us fundraise to try to just get rid of this horrible, horrible disease. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And of course, before we kick this podcast off, I'd like to take a moment to thank a very special group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discounts for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers After Show, access to our monthly happy hour calls, just to name a few. So if you want more info on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. So that's it. It's time to jump into the episode. As always, if you're new to the podcast, welcome. We hope you enjoy what you're listening to, and we hope you come back to hang with us again. If you've been listening for a while, thank you so much for coming back and hanging with us. We appreciate all of you and appreciate the time that you spend with us weekly. So that's going to be it. Here we go with episode 374 of Podketeers. I gotta say, man, I'm digging all the stuff that you're playing over on Turntable.
Yeah, I'm having a good time over there. Most of the time I'm by myself, which is fine. I like listening to the tunes I have going on, but one of these days we'll have to do a big meetup for everybody on Turntable. Have everybody DJ. I don't know if you're listening and you don't know what Turntable is. Turntable is kind of like a community DJ music player kind of thing. So there's like 5 slots, and the 5 people that are up there can play whatever song they want, and it kind of goes through each person and loops back around. And so I have a nice little Disney parks and fun Disney music playlist going on up there. So if you guys are anybody, I put it on the Discord every once in a while. Maybe this weekend or something, one of these weekends, I'll hop on there again. And if anybody wants to just have some fun music in the background, Turntable account's free, and you can listen to some fun curated songs and make your own playlist. It's a real fun time. I know Larry and Melissa, veterans of Turntable as well. So from before it was a thing before and then came back. If anybody doesn't, I'll ramble forever. But Turntable's a fun time.
And I could say that Andrew has like some really good tracks. That was the one thing that he was known for, is in that room. He had some tracks that you can't even find on Spotify, Amazon, anywhere. Like treasure trove.
Yeah, and they've changed it a little bit. So like I used to be able to upload your own, and now you have to like upload them through SoundCloud or something. So now I have to go back and like get all these like weird rare, audio rips from parks and stuff and try and get them up there without them being flagged. Who knows what's going to happen with that? But I've got some fun stuff up there either way. It's fun.
That's cool. Yeah, I appreciate you turning me on to the service, because when you first mentioned it, like you guys were all going on about it and how much fun you had, and I was like, I've never heard of this thing before. When I finally logged on and you showed me what it was, I love the little applause meter things that they have going.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, I haven't been a part of a big enough thing to see how they influence how people play music or anything. Do they do anything? Like, what do the applause meters do as part of the like what you're playing? So
if I'm remembering correctly, if you get a lot of like applause and stuff, you get points. And then the points, like you have a little avatar character, and then you're able to upgrade the avatar character and like get different like little stickers and stuff for your laptop. And I'm pretty sure it's a thumbs up and a thumbs down. If you get a lot of thumbs down, then it'll just skip your song. If the audience doesn't like it, it like skips you.
The avatar has the laptop, the stickers, so it's like they are a DJ kind of looking thing. And one of the cool things, I don't know, maybe you already said, Andrew, is that the songs are endless because it's the YouTube's library is where you could pull from. So if you heard it on YouTube, you could start making a playlist there pretty quickly. That's the ease of it. And videos play too during it. If it has like a cool YouTube video, people will be able to see that as well, which is really cool. Oh, see, I missed that part. I knew that you could upload and that there was a component of using your own library, but that YouTube thing's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's where I've got most of my stuff from now, because I had so many things uploaded, and then when they shut down the website, when they re-upped it, a couple of the features went away. But it's still a great service, and you get to have fun listening to different songs by what other people like. So you kind of get a nice mishmash of a whole bunch of different stuff depending on who's playing music. You know what? It would be fun if. So little known thing about whenever we do the FGP Squad calls, prior to starting the call, usually for about half an hour before, I'm streaming music. So it just says call is going to start in however many minutes, and there's music playing, and usually people can just kind of join in and listen as we're waiting for the call to begin. Maybe on one of the upcoming calls, maybe we'll just go into turntable and we'll turntable it up before hitting up the happy hour call. Happy hour pre-party.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah.
Jamming.
It'll be fun. Oh, all right, let's plan that out. I think that'll be super fun. Sweet. Especially earlier, you were singing the music from the Halloween parade.
Halloween parade.
Yeah. It's Halloween, everybody.
Is it the cavalcade?
Let out a scream. Hooray, it's Halloween.
Yeah, that song's as the kids say. I'm gonna sound like a grandpa. That song's a bop, man. That's a good. My sister says that. I hear people.
Wait,
say
I want to
that
add to this too. I want to add to this too. And that ain't cap.
Yeah, you love to hear it.
God,
you're hearing it more and more.
Larry's like, oh God. It's funny.
Fam.
So. Tons of stuff going on this week. We have a really fun topic later on in the episode about Disney merchandise and collectibles. But I wanted to give you guys a quick update about something I've been working on over the past several months now. A lot of you know that for a long time I was uploading all the episodes of Podketeers to our YouTube channel, because I know that there's a lot of people that spend most of the day on YouTube listening to music, listening to podcasts, just listening to random videos. And so another way to listen to the podcast was listening on YouTube. My computer crashed, and so I stopped doing it. We got pretty backed up. I mean, I was over 100 episodes behind in doing this. And for a while, I wasn't uploading because at the time that I kind of stopped, the new COPA laws for YouTube were kind of taken into effect, and we didn't know what was going to happen with, children being able to watch your videos, and you were going to be suspended from YouTube and sued and all sorts of stuff. And so that seems to kind of have ironed itself out. I'm at the point where, like I said, I'm able to start editing those videos again. And so I started, and little by little, I've been uploading the stuff I've rendered out. Each one takes a little bit of time to render because of the fact that I'm adding like the sound wave spectrum to each one of them. So whenever I have a little bit of time, I always drop 1 or 2 episodes, I render it out, and then I just kind of bank it for whenever I have an opportunity to start uploading to YouTube, because that's a beast in itself. Just uploading to YouTube and having it processed. Larry knows. Larry's uploaded a bunch of stuff to YouTube, man. Also, if you're not following Goofy Guy Adventures on YouTube, man, you better be following it. Go hit that subscribe button. Smash that bell icon for notifications. That's what all the cool YouTube kids say, right?
Yeah.
So I feel like this episode is going to be a lot of Larry just like, oh, God. So, yeah. I'm super happy that I'm finally getting out an opportunity to do that. So if you listened on YouTube, thank you for not unsubscribing and hanging tight while I had an opportunity to do that. I am also creating a playlist for all of our Armchair Imagineering episodes that we did before. So there's going to be a specific playlist for that, specific playlist for all of the episodes in general in chronological order. They don't go all the way back to episode 1 because that would just be an insane amount of time for me to render. I think when I started uploading is when we transitioned into when Mel and Gavin came on board as part of the podcast. So I think that was like episode 290 or something like that, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I'm having fun rendering everything out. I could be wrong about that episode number, but it's been a while.
I think it's 190.
Sorry, I'm getting old.
It's okay.
The point is, they're going up. Happy about it. Give me some time, and I will finally be caught up. I think I'm under 100 episodes at this point.
Whoa.
That need to be uploaded to YouTube, so I'm pretty happy. Let's see. Also, speaking of social, and creators and videos and stuff, on the Discord server, I want to say that it was FGP Squad member Anita that posted. Shout out to my pal Anita. She posted these Loki Crocs. People were creating little 3D printed horns to make it look like alligator Loki, because, Loki Crocs. Get it? Ha, ha, ha. Is this something that any of you would ever want to have?
No.
That's going to be a big no for me, Chief.
That's a negative.
Okay.
Oh, God.
See, there it is again. This is, instead of the wow episode, this is the oh God episode for Larry.
I looked up a list of 30 Gen Z slang words that I'm going to try and work into the show to make Larry say, oh God.
Nice. Yeah, I don't understand the appeal of Crocs. I've been told that they are super comfortable, but they are also kind of horrendous. I know that some people have now started calling them like sports mode when you put the strap on behind your foot or something because you can run with them on or something. That's a big thing on TikTok now. Look, if you are a fan of Crocs and you feel super comfortable in them, I'm nobody to tell you don't wear them, right? Like, you do you. If you're comfortable, you do whatever you want. Would I wear them? No.
I know a lot of nurses wear Crocs. So maybe you'll see a lot of Loki Crocagator, whatever, alligator Loki Crocs around the hospital. Who knows?
That would be fun. You would know who the Marvel fans are if that's the case. Right?
Yeah.
But, the reason I brought it up also is because it was funny to me how quickly it seemed to become a thing and this official product. Look, honestly, I don't know if it was their idea or not. Maybe they saw it and just thought, I'm going to post this as my idea. I don't care enough to go figure it out at this point. But it looked like a random creator had a 3D printer and said, I have this great idea. I'm going to print these Loki horns for my Crocs. And it just became a thing. And then 2 weeks later, like, official Loki Crocs were available. I hope they at least got some money off of that idea, because that sucks if they didn't. But hey, they're Loki Crocs. It's a thing you can have now. And I'll answer the question right now, because I know that some of you listening know that I'm a huge Iron Man fan, and if for some odd reason Crocs was like, we're making Crocs with an arc reactor on the front, and I know I'm being I don't like the Crocs. And even if Marvel was like, hey, we're building these with an arc reactor, would I get them? Probably, maybe. I wouldn't wear them, but I would have them as part of like, just a collectible, especially if the arc reactor lit up or something. But would I wear them? No, not at all. Speaking of Iron Man, one of my favorite creators on TikTok, her name is Emily the Engineer. I like to follow her posts because she is huge into printing stuff on 3D printers, and she's made many Iron Man suits and parts, and she is amazing at it. And she's in the process of creating a new suit for a con that she's going to. But I gotta tell you, the more and more that I watch those videos, the more I kind of want a 3D printer.
Do it.
Right? I mean, okay, look, hold on. Just between us four. Nobody else is listening. Just between us four. Do you think I should get a 3D printer, like, for real?
Yeah.
Yes.
You should, because I got a bunch of stuff that you could 3D print for me, and
like how
I don't want to buy one.
Switched.
And yeah.
I mean, look, honestly, I like creating stuff like that, and if we do have the files, as long as you buy the filament, I don't really care. I'll make it for you, right? I'm totally fine with it. Amazon's a thing. Shipping to somebody else is a thing. Just send me the parts, and then I will build it for you. And the next time I see you, I will hand them over if it's too expensive to ship everything. But I'm totally for it. I mean, I kind of really want a 3D printer.
I think it's a
What happens if, like, I don't know, 4D printer comes out? That's what I'm always like.
A 4D printer?
No, I'm not as tech involved with the 3D printer thing, but it's just like, it feels like when you get the one thing, then the next thing rolls out. And
So
it's like,
so it's like a
That does
4D
happen to
movie,
me.
but a 4D printer, so it like squirts water at you.
I'm guessing. That's the first
It
thing you think.
smells.
Smells.
Now in smell-o-vision. All right, so back to the full conversation. Now that everyone else is listening, they couldn't hear us when we were talking a moment ago.
No.
But I'm really thinking about getting that 3D printer, guys. Like, for real. Right before Gavin moved, he 3D printed some stuff for me, and he gave me some pieces of some parts for something that I've been wanting to build for a really long time, and I haven't had the opportunity to do it. But what's next on my to-do list of things is to build Din Djarin's helmet from The Mandalorian. Like, he 3D printed it in pieces. I need to piece it together. I need to sand it down, glue it together, and paint it. One of the hardest parts about that build has been trying to find a paint that I really like that looks like that gunmetal, because it's so iconic. I want to do it justice when I finally put it together.
You mean Beskar metal, Heyzen?
The Beskar metal, yeah.
Yeah.
When you go buy automotive paint, they don't have anything called Beskar car paint. It's usually gunmetal.
How dare them?
Yet,
Right.
wait for the Mandalorian line of spray paints from PPG.
Grogu green for the inside dash.
Only at Sherwin-Williams.
That's funny. Anyway, if you like watching 3D builds, definitely recommend that creator on TikTok. I'll put a link to at least one of her videos in the blog post for this episode, podketeers.com/374. And then from there, you can just hit that follow button if you like her content. But that 3D printer, I don't know. Let's put a pin in that one. Really thinking about it. I feel like I could make some really cool stuff.
If you think Heyzen should get if you think Heyzen should get a 3D printer, write a comment on this Instagram post of the show post, and or somewhere, send him a message of your support for Heyzen getting a 3D printer. That way you can tell the family, say, hey, look at all these people, they want me to get a 3D printer. That way, he doesn't feel as bad. He has more people vouching for him that he can get his 3D printer. That's a good idea.
Some encouragement.
Right? Look,
I'm
I
on
know
team
it's
sleep.
something.
Heyzen, get some sleep.
I honestly, and that's the thing, right? Like, Larry knows, like, I don't get a lot of sleep to begin with, but whenever I get a new toy, I get even less sleep than I did
Yep.
before. So there is that danger But I mean, like Mel and I have been talking about getting a 3D printer for a long time because, I mean, as a crafter, there's tons of stuff that Mel could make with it if I had one. There's tons of stuff I could make that I just want. I mean, I don't even care about selling the stuff. However, I guess we could, right? But, I mean, it's just tons of stuff that I want to be able to build for myself and to give to friends and stuff like that. So, I don't know. I'm going to think about it. I feel like I've talked about it way too much, and I should just own one now. Hey, you know what? Let me go order one.
Wow.
I'm not. I'm kidding. I'm not gonna. I'm nowhere there right now. Nowhere there. Oh, you know what? Since we were talking about Marvel, you want to hear some sad news? Scarlett Johansson has officially cut ties with Disney.
Sheesh.
Yikes.
Yeah. I know it's kind of a quick U-turn and kind of a bummer, but I mean, I don't want to say that I felt like this was coming. There was a lot of things that I felt were pointing to it. I think the way that they brought it out into public and the way that they were kind of airing their grievances against each other went to a point where, had they done it behind closed doors, I don't know if Scarlett Johansson would have gotten what she wanted or what she deserved. I honestly don't even know if at this point she's gotten what she wants or what she deserves. It's hard to tell. Pretty sure that there's tons of coverage out there. I saw a headline. I didn't read the article, but I did see the headline saying that she had cut ties with Disney. And then as part of all of that was also the fact that we're not going to get a Tower of Terror movie because Scarlett Johansson was the one that was attached to that project. That kind of bummed me out, because we already began to see the transition of the MCU without her. So seeing her in something else as beloved as the Tower of Terror really did bum me out.
Yeah, I was thinking too, she's got that era of time where she could pull it off too, where the decade that they were probably going to do it in, I'm guessing, was the older period. So I was thinking that's like a perfect fit for that. But it's for me, it's the Tower of Terror. I mean, Scarlett Johansson's a great actor. I think we kind of covered this before, but there was a lot of, like you said, it's been put out. The laundry's out there now. And the dirty laundry, it don't look good. So on either side now, it's kind of like, it's just sad that's what I said at the end of one. Too bad it led to this being changed. We don't know about Marvel. They always got things hidden. So that makes me worried too. Like, hopefully there's nothing there they had to change too much. But I have faith that Marvel could pick up the pieces. That's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of bummed that there's a halt in the movie. Like, we were really excited to hear that we were going to get, or there was talks of this film coming out. So we're just going to see how things go with this film and where it ends up and what path it's going to go. So only time will tell.
Yeah, who knows if it's going to have a life after ScarJo, as the kids call her.
Man. Oh, God.
There we go. There we go.
Anyone, keeping count on this? We should have like a little tally.
I'll build it into some little ding.
4 oh gods so far, I think.
Already more wows than we ever got.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, who knows what's going to happen with it? It'd be interesting to see what comes of it, because it's an IP that I think people want to see more of. They want more than the 90s movie. They want more Tower of Terror. So even if it doesn't have Scarlett Johansson, even though that was probably like a Scarlett Johansson vehicle and like, her idea or collaborating on it or whatever. But yeah, who knows if it has a life afterwards.
Yeah. If Disney did decide to revive the IP and they decided to roll with this idea, who do you think would be... I mean, Larry brought up a really great point. She does have this really great timeless look where she could fit into the 1920s really, really easily, right? Who do you think would be able to also pull that off from, like, active actresses right now?
I'm going to throw out a name. Kat Dennings, who's also Darcy Lewis, who we saw in WandaVision, who's also come out in Thor. She has this charm. Like, it could be like different. So I mean, we need kooky when it comes to Tower. So we've seen that. So she has that. There you go. Throwing into universe.
Okay.
Yeah, I bringing up the trying to fit in with that 20s look. The first person I thought of was Anne Hathaway. She's got if you watch some of her recent stuff, I don't know if you've seen The Witches or anything like that, but she's got a lot of even Princess Diaries and all her movies. She's got great comedic timing, and she can do voices and do all kinds of stuff. So that was the first person I thought of when you brought it up.
Yeah, it's a great choice too.
But also, I'm going to throw this out there. What about Kirsten Dunst? She was in the first movie.
Interesting.
As a kid.
Yeah.
But then,
Nice.
yeah,
A
big
return.
glow up.
Cool.
A glow up from the other movie to the big movie.
And by the way, kids, if you're wondering about those attraction films, Jungle Cruise, Haunted Mansion, in case you don't know, yes, there was a Tower of Terror film that starred Kristen Dunst and who was
Steve Gutenberg.
Steve
Gutenberg.
Gutenberg,
I
that's who it
couldn't
was.
think of his name earlier. Yeah, Steve Gutenberg.
I couldn't either. Yeah, Steve Gutenberg. It was a film.
I mean, it was like a Wonderful World of Disney TV film.
Yeah.
So it was so it wasn't big. It wasn't a huge budget or anything.
It
like
was
that,
definitely good for what it was.
Yeah.
You know, you can't knock
good
it.
TV movie.
Yeah, definitely one of the... I don't think it was officially ever considered a DCOM, but it's DCOM quality. Those are great choices. Larry, who would you suggest?
I'm going to go Gal Gadot. That's my best guess. On that one, I think.
Okay.
I know she's like Wonder Woman, right? But that time period in there, I think she gets squeezed in that 1920s. I think that'd be pretty cool. They haven't got her anything Disney yet. That'd be kind of cool. But that's my best guess.
Interesting. So there's actually two people that I would think I would want to see in that role if they ever went for it. And it just really depends on how much kookier you want to go with. I mean, I guess you could do serious too, because so my first choice would be Kristen Bell. I mean, I've been a Kristen Bell fan since Veronica Mars, and so she can pull off, the serious kind of snarky, type of character. She's done funny. She's done, pretty much everything. I mean, The Good Place is one of my favorite TV shows right now, and she did a great job on that one. So I think Kristen Bell would be really good, but I also think that if we're going for that 1920s glamorous look, I think Amy Adams would be a really good fit for that part.
Man, you could really flip on. She's really good at comedy, drama, and also just Disney stuff she's done. I mean, well, if you've ever watched the movie Enchanted, right? Did I say it right? Yeah. It's awesome. I mean, she played that role so well. So yeah, I like that choice.
You brought up The Good Place, Heyzen, and what about also from The Good Place? What's her name? Jamila Jamil. I think I probably butchered her name.
Oh yeah,
but
she would be
she's.
really good
I mean,
too.
her accent is fantastic. I mean, I'm sure it can go over to be more like a, what's that transatlantic accent kind of thing. That that's a different way. Playing it more British or something like that would be kind of fun. And then another one that popped in my head, if you wanted to go completely ridiculous, silly, Nicole Byer. I don't know if you know from Nailed It, and she was also on The Good Place. I'll bring another Good Place person. She played the male person in the last season of The Good Place, but I think she's hilarious. So if it was a very silly movie, Nicole Byer would be number one for that. In my opinion.
Nicole Byer's super funny. I like. Now I'm thinking about the Nailed It TV show and all the amazing things you get to see on that. It's a Netflix show in case you guys wanna check it out.
Yeah, she has a stand-up, not family-friendly stand-up on Netflix. I think it's a 20-minute or 15-minute or something. One of those Netflix series. It's hilarious. I almost died.
Absolutely funny. I'm on.
Well, if you have any suggestions about who you would want to see in a role for Tower of Terror, join the conversation over on Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter. We'd love to hear your thoughts on this. But we'd love to have you as a part of the family over on our Discord server. If you haven't joined us yet, the best way to do that is to go to podketeers.com or the blog post for this episode, podketeers.com/374. You'll find an invite to the Discord server. click it after you install the app. It'll immediately bring it up. You enter a couple of things, and then you'll be on your way to being a part of our Discord family. So, this is a really interesting topic and situation because I don't know how much traction the film had already gotten, but I think buzz-wise, from just a fan standpoint, I think we'd like to see something like that, especially with how iconic the Tower of Terror has always been. Interesting situation. Love to hear your thoughts. Join the conversation. We'll share them in an upcoming episode. Before we continue, I do want to remind you that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by a fantastic group of listeners known as the FGP Squad, or as we call them, our podcast, Fairy Godparents, but they chose FGP Squad because it's just easier to type. Your thumbs hurt less when you're typing that into your phone. The FGP Squad helps us out with a monthly contribution via Patreon, and it also gets you a few extra perks when you sign up. Gets you access to our monthly happy hour call, gets you some additional content like Podketeers After Show, discounts on Podketeers gear, random giveaways, and all sorts of cool stuff. So if you want more information, you can head over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. And of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support.
FGP, you know, those they're the let's see, I'm using some of my words here. I had it. FGP, high key the best fam out there, and if anyone wants to disagree, they could catch these hands. No cap.
Oh Lord.
Yeet.
We need the Lord now.
I love the fact that as soon as Andrew started talking, Larry's head just like dipped right into his arm. He's like, "Oh no!"
Crossing them off my list. I'm sounding like an old grandpa.
You fulfilled your cool quota for today. You're good.
I'm not even trying to be cool. There's no way that this is cool. I have a list on a piece of paper, and I'm crossing them off. So that's, I think, the opposite of.
If you think Andrew's cool, leave it in the comments of this episode.
Join the conversation and let us know how cool Andrew is.
I don't know if I want to know, but yeah, let
we'll defend
I'll
you.
Them,
You're cool as hell, man.
Yeah, I'll have somebody will check it before me to not damage my ego too much.
I love it. So since we're talking about Marvel, I guess it's a really good time to ask the question: have you seen the first episode of What If?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thoughts. Let's go around the room here.
Super fun storytelling for sure.
Yeah, I think they got the voice cast is fun, bringing back a lot of the originals. Plus, you know, I mean, Chris Evans didn't reprise his role, but I think they got a good voice match for him, for Steve Rogers. And then there's some characters in there that I'm pretty sure aren't Marvel, like in any of the films. There's a guy named Bradley Whitford. I don't know if you've seen. There's a TV show he was on where he played like a choir director or something. But he plays Colonel John Flynn. I don't know if I remember him in any films or not, but he was the first one I recognized other than Haley Atwell. I was like, what? Isn't that guy from that show? So it was, the voice cast is great. Either way, you get a lot of the heavy hitters in that.
Yeah, for me, I mean, you guys pretty much nailed off right at the bat, you know, what my things were. Just to tie into what Andrew was saying, the voice cast, right? When I heard the promo, I love Jeffrey Wright. That guy's the Watcher, I believe. That's the voice you're hearing for that.
Oh, yeah.
He's from another show, kind of real sci-fi that I like from HBO called Westworld. He plays a major character in that too. So I was like, oh, when I heard that voice, I was like, that is so iconic for me. So I like that he was that person for this role. I think for me, watching this What If episode, and I'm thinking the rest are going to be the same like this, it's a lot of guessing. You're kind of like, how is this going to play out to the next thing? And you can probably, if you've watched enough Marvel, you can kind of guess like what's going to happen, but you're not completely sure. So it's kind of cool to be something in that realm again with Marvel being like, not completely lost, but you're like, I could guess what can happen here, and how like this timeline that we're seeing, or we're seeing this what if, still follows some of the like major categories or major storylines that you saw in the first one, but the characters are different. And I love to the comedy, the subtle comedy of tying in lines. Like, for example, there's a part where Captain Carter tells Bucky, what do you hate, trains? And I when I saw that part, I was like, that was pretty good tie-in. I like that. So it was like, there's so many things on here that what if that had my attention immediately. And even though it's animated, it's a really cool, different realm of things. And the voice acting, I think they really bring it home with that too.
Yeah, I think you all bring up some really great points. What if the animation style, it doesn't look like some cheap cartoon. It looks like a graphic novel come to life. And I think that's what I like the most about it. They even pay homage to the pages of the comic book with a couple of screens of Captain Carter doing some butt kicking, during a couple of the scenes of that first episode. So I thought that was a really nice homage to the comics themselves. Overall, I remember a long time ago when Stan Lee was appearing as part of the films, there was speculation that Stan Lee was Uatu the Watcher. Because, why else would he be a part of so many films unless he was watching the universe and trying to not get involved? And that's the thing about Uatu, right? Like, his whole deal was that as a watcher, he's supposed to observe and just let things happen, and he's not supposed to intervene. But there are many comic books in which he intervenes, and so there was speculation about Stan Lee being Uatu. I think as time progressed, we realized that he wasn't, that, he was just a recurring character. And especially now with this What If series, we're finally going to get to see Uatu at some point. I don't know. I have so many thoughts about this because, one, when comics are written, there's always these experimental storylines or these storylines that don't go anywhere within the same universe that 616 is in, right? Like, Marvel Prime is the one we all know. That's the comic book series. But we know that the MCU is a different universe. We know that certain comics happen in a different universe. That's why we got a different Spider-Man. That's why we got another incarnation of Iron Man. That's why we got another incarnation of Thor. That's why, and what If essentially has done is it's given Marvel an opportunity to workshop stories that people might want to see more of as part of Phase 4, 5, and 6 going forward. I think they'll somehow figure out how to mix them into the plans that already exist. But, I mean, theoretically, What If could go on forever? Because if it's part of the multiverse, this is just a bunch of stories. Like, this could be the new comic book. Like, What If could be the new comic book series that you get every Tuesday, right? I believe that every episode is supposed to be in a different universe. I don't know if they're going to tie in and then tie into the next season of Loki, tie into, what we're going to get with the other series, with the films or anything. But, I mean, the implications of this one episode are massive. Right? We see Howard Stark create an Iron Man suit, which means Tony doesn't create an Iron Man suit, which means Tony is never Iron Man. We see Bucky, spoiler alert. I mean, I already started with it, but, I mean, if you haven't watched it, spoiler alert before you start yelling at me. But we see Bucky get saved, which means he never becomes a Winter Soldier, going back to that crack that Larry was talking about in the episode. Like, there's this timeline of events that, never happened. Like, Steve would never have come back and then mess with the Infinity Stones, which means that timeline would have never branched out. Tony would have never fought Thanos. We would have never had... I don't know. There's, like, so many things that this one episode changes in the Infinity Saga that completely changes the outcome. And I'm telling you, if every episode is modeled this way... it's content for decades.
Yeah.
Well, that's the whole thing about what if. It can be endless because it doesn't have to stick to anything. It could be anybody's idea about, what if Thor became Santa Claus or something? I don't know. But like what, it could be anything like that. They could go on forever making what if all this stuff took place, started 100 years later or 100 years earlier or something like that. And there's an infinity amount of numbers. So you can have every, 6, 1, 3, 4, 5, 9, universe, just however they want to do it. Because like you said, that whole beginning with the Watcher and stuff talking about watching the timeline and everything, it does kind of, it ties everything into, okay, there are timelines and this is a branch and this is a branch like we saw in Loki. So it's a lot. And I don't know if they've officially said like, this is like canon to the MCU, or if this is its own, the whole thing as itself is another just entity. So that'd be interesting to find out, because if it is, then it's just another thing we have to keep track of. And where does this fall in the timeline? I know it's a what if, but it's a lot to even think about.
Yeah. Whether it's canon, yes. I'm fully sure that it is canon, because I want to say Kevin Feige at one point during a press conference or some con said that pretty much everything that's released on Disney Plus is canon to the MCU timeline. However, because What If is dealing with other universes as part of this multiverse, I don't think we'll necessarily have to worry about it, because they're all going to be their own stories. Like, it won't affect the main MCU. Unless there's some crossover, which obviously if we do get the multiple Spider-Mans and, we get those crossovers and everything, then yeah, obviously there are implications in the main MCU that will possibly come from something like this. But in general, yes, it's canon, I think, and we don't really have to worry too much about it, because it's just an alternate universe. Like you said, it's a what if thing, right? But man, I'm loving it so much already. Yeah, if you've had an opportunity to watch What If, leave your comments during the conversation. We'd love to know how you guys are feeling about it. I think this is a really great way to follow up what we saw at the end of Loki, and I'm eager to see what else comes from the other episodes, because again, if this is going to lead to somehow Uatu becoming a character in one of the films or in Loki or anything else that's coming up, I think it'll be a really great character, and there's so many possibilities.
I hope so. Like the Vision, he was just his voice at first. Well, he was, Jarvis the voice, and then they switched him to Vision, right? And he became the actor. I would be stoked if they bring Jeffrey Wright into like the live action part of the films, because I just like him as an actor. I think he'd be a great fit for these movies.
I agree. And you know what? I mean, the biggest thing that can come from bringing him in as a character, and I guess not, because having Kang the Conqueror is already a big part of that. But Uatu made his first appearance in a Fantastic Four comic. And because Kang is such a huge part of the Fantastic Four comic series, where one of his variants is even like Reed Richards' brother, there's already kind of that tie-in. So bringing him in and introducing the Fantastic Four and rolling that story out, I'm telling you, man, there's so many possibilities. I'm so happy.
I just answered my own question from earlier. I've been doing research while you guys have been talking. And the character that I was talking about earlier, the actor Bradley Whitford, his character actually originated in the Marvel one-shots mini movie thing, short films that I've never heard of.
Oh, they were in the first several Marvel movies.
Yeah, they were all released on the DVDs, and this is a whole thing I've never heard of, so I'm going to have to watch all of these. I don't know if they're on Disney Plus, probably not. But he was in the Agent Carter one shot, and that's where his character comes from in this episode What If. So now I'm going to have to try and find all of these.
Yeah, there was 5 of them that they ended up doing. The first one was in Thor. No, it was in Captain America: The First Avenger, in Thor. Iron Man 3 had one.
The Avengers
Avengers
and Thor
had
the
one.
Dark World.
Oh, yeah, and Thor the Dark World. Yeah.
I have the list here.
Oh, okay. That would have been much easier.
Thor was first. It's Thor, Captain America, Avengers, Iron Man 3, and then Thor the Dark World.
Yeah, I mean, they were short. They were great. I'm surprised that they didn't continue with those after that. And it seems like it's a really great fit for something like this. I'm so happy with this right now. Every time Marvel puts out something new, I'm just so happy. Everything is just so great. It's so well produced. I'm happy with this. Loving it.
You heard it here. Heyzen loves Captain Marvel.
Wait a second. Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa.
Them fighting words.
Them's is fighting words. I like Captain Marvel for the origin story that it is and was advertised not to be. How about that? Hey, speaking of Captain Marvel and the Avengers and all that Marvel goodness, Larry, I need to hear about how your trip to Avengers Campus went, man.
What if you got a web slingers pass at 7 a.m.? What if that same day you were able to get a Rise of the Resistance pass at 12? What if this world existed at Disneyland Resort?
Nice.
That is what happened to me going to Disneyland for my wonderful wife's birthday. Maybe she has the Leo luck because she is definitely a Leo for sure all the way. But we went August 10th and 11th, which is this last Tuesday and Wednesday. And if you haven't heard, I mentioned this earlier, Disney was low-key. It was a low crowd. Everyone's waiting on that key, I think. We walked, at 7 a.m., we were getting ready to go, and we parked at a Starbucks nearby before going to the park. Got a web slingers pass. Boom. I was like, dude, that's awesome, because I've been hearing it's like really hard to get those. So we immediately went into DCA, beelined it towards Avengers Campus, and walking through, so I'm going through the gates, right, and you see the Avengers Campus sign, and then the music kicked on. No way, no how. Every time you could ask my wife and niece that were there with me, I slow walked on purpose. Even how embarrassed they were, I was pretending like I was just breaking through the movie just with that music inspiring me.
Yeah.
Seeing everything around me as I was running straight towards what we've been talking about, Pim Test Kitchen, and getting the candy bar Choco Smash. Oh, that was it. This was the one, the dark chocolate peanuts caramel nugget chocolate brownie. And I think, now hang on everybody, Captain Marvel was out, and I think there might have been a little bit of a tie-in with my Choco Smash because it was great but not amazing. I'm sorry, folks. It was good. Okay, it's just a lot of chocolate. I underestimated the chocolate. So it was a great origin story, right? That we've been all playing by. But when I bit into it, I was like, it's 8 in the morning. It was a lot of chocolate rush to take in, but I wanted just a little bit more of that caramel from it. So I was like, but I can tell you, like, if you're a chocolate fan, you're going to love the brownie and like ratio to nugget and peanuts. It's amazingly good there. But if you're like a fair weather chocolate fan, this might be on the other side of too chocolatey. So that's the thing. And it is like ganache chocolate. Like it's like kind of frozen-y. Like we were wondering the consistency. Yeah, that's what it came out. It was really cool though. And I had no wait. I just walked in.
Nice.
I didn't even have to put in an order. I just walked in and ordered, which was pretty cool. Like, even though they're doing the mobile system, like I just got in, I was good to go. So that was really fast. And then so we were kind of like, well, what are we gonna do? We got to wait for our web slingers.
So you had a candy bar for breakfast? Is that
that's
what we're
right?
talking about?
Breakfast of
Candy bar for
champions.
breakfast.
Candy bar for breakfast with Captain Marvel in the background. So then we walked
Captain
around.
Marvel? Is that what you said?
Captain? I said Captain Marvel. Look out! Oh Lord! Now I'm gonna have to just
Nope, you said
hope
it
the
again.
Lord helps
Boom.
me.
I gotta tell you.
I've been
Ooh, big
X
yikes.
from Disney. we just took pictures around Avengers Campus. I mean, just walking into the Doctor Strange area, and then there's like, you know, the Shield and Tony Stark things around where you could just be by the Quinjet. It was cool to have that moment. That took up a lot of our time, and then we kind of just for the heck of it veered over to Cars Land because now you could do that, which we were like, that's cool. I know, like, that's like a small thing, but other than that, I'll kind of just keep this like foodie related. That day we went on Web Slingers. My first initial reactions to Web Slingers, pretty good, but I'll admit, like everyone else, you know, there's things that are awesome about it, and there's things that are like, that was fast, and you're kind of like, your wrists are still killing you, and you didn't know if you were like doing anything except like trying to do something. It reminds me of like that cool things kids used to do. Talk about cool kids used to do back in the day. We used to try to snap their knuckles all the time.
Oh yeah.
They used to do that weird like thing with their wrist. That's kind of what you feel like you're doing on the ride if you don't have one of those like web slinger adapter wrist things. That's kind of what you feel like. But it was really cool to see that come through. And the queue, I mean, when you get inside, it really does come to life. And the things you see in there are really awesome. But got hungry, and I will say, if I would have to say, DCA came with a killing on the Cocina. I can't. Did I see that right?
The place on the wharf is what you're talking about.
The place on the wharf has some tacos right now, like birria tacos, carne asada tacos.
What?
Dude,
Yeah.
they are legit. Like, for anybody that's about to get the key and go back to the park, if those tacos are still there, go for it. They were delish. They were awesome, tasty, hot, nice. I would put them up against, like, maybe even going to like a nice Mexican restaurant taco truck, like that good. I mean, I wanted more. That's the only thing. You go to Disney and you're like, God, I could add more of that. Mm-hmm. And that was really surprising. So then after that, about 1 o'clock, we hopped back over to Disneyland, and it was pretty much the same. Like I said, we just got a Rise of the Resistance at 12 o'clock getting the pass, and it was pretty low key. Things were like 30 to 45 minute waits, if that. Everything was really nice to get on. We got on Haunted Mansion, we got on Pirates of the Caribbean, and we took like a nice little break to get some food at the Jolly Holiday. And another food thing I never tried there, because I got their roast beef sandwich just to share with my wife, but I never had their in-house made chips.
They're good.
Yeah.
Those are good.
Legit,
Yeah.
right?
Like that was the first time I ever tried it. I was like, if you haven't tried them, screw getting Lay's barbecue chips. If you see those, forget it. Turn around, go over there and get those chips, because you're gonna get more, first off, and second, like, they're good. So that was a nice little bonus to get that as well. That was super good. And then we got on Rise, and it was my niece's first time, my wife's second time now getting, because we got on in June, and it did. Bad note is, now I've been in queue for it. Seriously, I've been in queue for it now 9 times and got on it 4 times. So there's that.
Oh, jeez.
And it broke down that day too. So, and then the important part about this one, what I wanted people to know, is that they were not even, like, the last other times they would say, okay, everyone, we're clearing out the queue and we're going to give you a return pass, which you didn't have to use for Rise, but everyone wanted to use it for Rise, right? This time they didn't do that. They're like, hang in there, and if you leave, you leave. It's done. So we were like, oh man, this is kind of a bummer. So we just had to sit there. Luckily, thanks to Andrew, you know what he mentioned, you gotta love the chairs. You gotta love the chairs inside the queue.
Built-in
We got
benches.
to one of those spots of the benches in there, and we just chilled, and the AC was kicking. So I was like, this is all magic right now. So that was sweet. But once it turned back on, a majority of the ride was working. There was just, I think they like the gauntlet shooters, the shooters were kind of a little bit off. They were not working, but everything else was sweet. And then, I mean, the rest of the day we went back to DCA to check out Avengers at night, and my wife wanted to try out the Lamplight Lounge. Dude, I gotta say, Avengers at night, whoo-wee. Oh, you are gonna blow up on photography. I was like, dude, I was trying to take video, but I was too excited. I even did one of the, like, you know, Scarlett Johansson, like, drops on the pictures. I did the whole flicking my hair back just for one of the pictures, just because I was like, I got to do it. And I felt like a poser, but I did it.
Whose pose was it? Natasha's or Yelena's?
I didn't shake after. I didn't shudder, so I'm guessing it was Natasha's.
All right, it was Natasha's
afterwards.
then, yeah.
And I didn't land it. Come on. This is over 250-pound man. Definitely didn't look the way as
you didn't look as graceful?
Would have wanted it.
Oh, ScarJo. My fam.
Oh,
ScarJo.
Lordy Lord. At night, it was awesome. Yeah, Avengers Campus at night. There was no queues. You just walked in again, and you could have gotten food. Everything was low key. Like I'm saying here, keep with that theme. It was just really nice. It just walked in, sweet. I was like, hopefully the parks are like this someday too. So we just took a nice stroll, went back into, saw some fireworks out from outside the Esplanade area, went back into Disneyland, enjoyed that night. Next day, keep this brief, we just went to Disneyland and we knocked out so much, including getting a Rise of the Resistance Fast Pass again in the morning. So we got to ride it again the next day. So it was just a nice, slow pace, honestly. Everything was like 30, 40 minutes. More people. The queues were different than when I went last time. But it was just a great experience. And I don't know what, you know, things are going to look like after the keys all go live, right? We're going to probably see some more people show up. But hopefully the attendance that they got a little bit of knowledge from this, knowing that it is just a lot more pleasant of experience. And I know last couple episodes ago I was like, I want to see how this all works out, but this didn't help for me, like on the argument of I want to see how this works out. This put me on the other side of, God, I miss this so much. Like there was just moments of just sitting there and just being like, that's because we were able to do things in a slow pace. There was no rush of crowds or nothing. But it was just, wow. There was just some moments that just really hit home for me that were like, dude, yeah, I can't wait till hopefully it works out. We're able to get a key / pass, whatever you want to call it, again.
It's a pass. I'm never going to not call it a pass. It's a pass. It's a magic key pass.
And I don't want to miss, I forgot to mention this. I tried the Haunted Mansion wedding cake. My wife, technically that was probably her birthday cake. A slice of that. And that was on point. That's a white cake with buttercream frosting, and they have a little bit of sour cherry and cream cheese filling.
Ooh.
And it's all bloody. If you ever seen it, looks kind of cool. Yeah. My wife's like, are you guys going to sing me Happy Murder Birthday? Come on. We didn't go with it, but that was what I was talking about. There was a moment we were just eating cake there, blood dripping down our mouth. We're like, I love New Orleans. But like just being in that ambience again, it was so cool chilling there. And that's some great cake. If you get a chance, go try that too. Very good.
Wait, so you were in New Orleans squaring, you didn't get sneezed on by somebody?
Oh no.
Wait, Larry,
no.
where do they have the cake? Where can you get it?
French Market Restaurant. Here's the little thing too. We were going to try to order that through the app, but you have to go in there and get that. That's not something they available through like mobile ordering, which was fine. We walked in, it was pretty low key. You just grab one and then you checked out pretty easily.
So French Market was back to you could walk up to the counter with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when we went, it was mobile order only. So
that's what we heard. And then when we got there, we're like, oh, they're not even. Also. We thought what you guys went through was happening. Like, oh, it's closed for some reason. But when we went in there, they're like, no, we're just not doing mobile order right now. We're only able to do, I think that's a phase. Like we're only able to take in person right now. And yeah, that was, delish. It was nice.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah, I mean, everything that you mentioned sounds amazing. I think the fact that so many people are back in school now, people are waiting for the keys is really contributing to all of this. This is probably an ideal situation that I would have loved to be in. I unfortunately went when they opened it for everyone, and so for me it was a little daunting. In this current scenario, I think I would enjoy the park a lot more if I had the opportunity to go. I don't think I will have an opportunity to go anytime soon, at least not until after we get our keys, but we'll see. I mean, you said that hopefully they saw this as just a better experience. I don't think so. I think what we're seeing right now is an anomaly. I think that as soon as the Magic Keys are available, we're going to be back to what it looked like June 15th when they opened up the parks, if not more. I mean, I think Disney is on a path of trying to get as many people back into the park as soon as possible. And even though there's going to be reservations, they're going to try to max out the reservations as soon as they can. I wish I could go now. All the things that you mentioned, Avengers Camp is definitely something I want to see. Those birria tacos that you're talking about, I see people posting them. I see videos of them, and man, legit, dude.
They're not messing around.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now.
My mouth is watering just thinking about it right now.
We all split. My niece had carne asada. My wife had the birria, and I had the potato one. Oh, dude, I love me some good starch, bro. And speaking of good starch, to solve the mystery, folks, yes, I did finally get to have a Disneyland churro again. That was my breakfast on the day of Wednesday. So there you go, Andrew.
That's you know what? Yeah. As when I used to go to the park down by myself, I'd have one of three things for breakfast. I'd have a churro and a Coke, I'd have a cinnamon roll and a Coke, or I have brioche French toast and a Coke. So churro and a Coke is a great breakfast.
Right on. Well, it sounds like you had an amazing trip. If anybody else is going anytime soon, we'd love to hear how your experience was. Obviously, it's going to be interesting to see how long this keeps up. Again, we speculate that once the Magic Keys are available, we're going to see an influx of people in the park. And then I'm just curious as to how the experience is going to be at that point. But time will tell. Okay, we have a fun topic for you. We were talking about collectibles, right? And Andrew is like as far as our group is concerned, Andrew's like the king of collectibles. He's got so many amazing things. His collection is amazing. And so we thought we would talk about collectibles that we've seen and we've wanted, but have never had the opportunity to purchase or own. Now, I do have a question. And I don't know if any of you function like this, but if I'm unable to get something that I really wanted, either because I couldn't get there on time, it was a limited release, they ran out, the goat was sitting there loading for 17 hours and I never got to place my order, whatever the case was, right?
Damn that goat.
I tend to morph into this mindset of out of sight, out of mind, because if I keep thinking about it, I get sad and I just kind of dwell on the fact that I didn't get the item. So if I'm at the point where I know I'm not going to get it, I honestly, I have to turn that off and move on with my life, or else I will dwell. So when you asked, do you know of any products that you want, like this was kind of hard at first because I didn't know how much I wanted until I started thinking about it again. And then it was like the floodgates opened, right? Like all of a sudden, like one memory after another started smacking me in the face saying, "Ha ha, you didn't get me." And so for a little bit, I was a little hurt. I got a little emotional thinking, in the arms of an angel. I honestly thought I wasn't going to come up with more than like 2 or 3. I have like 40.
Yeah, me too. I stopped after like 15 because I was like, I don't know if we'll have enough time. But yeah, it's a big list.
Because I think we agreed on having between 3 to 5 for each of us, right? Just so that we can quickly get through it. And I think maybe 3, considering we're about an hour into the podcast already. So are we talking just like general merchandise in the parks, World of Disney, maybe shopdisney.com sort of situation? Or are we talking about like Disneyana collectibles like that we've also seen in auctions and stuff like that?
I would say anything. My idea was anything that has been officially released for purchase as a consumer product. So it could have been a consumer product in 1955, or something you as a person could buy, not like this was a thing, where they retire a piece of furniture from a hotel and then you can buy it later. Something that has a barcode on it or something you can buy like that was my idea for this segment. So stuff like that. Anything, I have stuff from I have a lot of older stuff that is stuff that could have been purchased, but I wasn't alive when it was being sold. So anything that you could have bought as a person, that isn't some kind of specialty, prop from the park or something that you'd have to go through special means to get.
Okay, that helps a lot. Damn, I don't know how I'm gonna narrow this list down.
Pick a number.
Yeah, just
I know,
randomly
there's
pick
so
some, have
many,
some good ones, middle ones, and that, like you said, we can spread this over a bunch of episodes. It's our new segment. It's collector chat. Bum, ba, bow.
I actually
on
like
collector
that.
Chat.
I think we'd have fun doing collector chat. I dig that.
Collector chat. You will have what's his name, Benicio del Toro's
I knew you were
character.
gonna
He
do
can,
it.
he'll be the logo. He's the collector.
Collector.
Tentalier Tivan, right?
Yeah.
Did I say it right? I always screw his name up.
Tentalier.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, collector chat.
All right. Well,
like it.
Mel, why don't you
CC.
kick us off for collector chat?
Sure. Let me just rip the Band-Aid off and just when thinking about this list. First one I have is the Victor Geist Parks exclusive Funko, and that's the organ player Funko from the Haunted Mansion that you would see in the ballroom. And this was the first one I had to rip the Band-Aid off. I'm like, oh, this was one of those cases where I wasn't going to get it in time. You had to be like lined up at 4 o'clock in the morning. That one hurt. So that's one.
So this segment idea was kind of a selfish task as to what are the things that I haven't heard about that I can put on the list of my eBay searches so I can get them. So that's going on the list. I just wrote it down. So.
You're welcome.
May Lord be with this child.
And see, this was a selfish one for me too, because I thought, wow, they're gonna know what I want for Christmas.
Perfect.
What's our retainer?
Yeah.
Budget?
Yeah,
You got
what's in
$5
the
and a stick of
spending
gum.
account?
If you're lucky, you get a bag of Cheetos from what's our HR person, Andrew?
I don't remember. I'll have to look at the company file. I
Yeah.
forgot her name. I've been so busy.
Wait, wasn't it Stella?
No, Stella.
Oh.
That's is Stella right here.
My
Hi,
bad.
Stella's on the mic.
Thanks for
My
making an
apologies.
appearance, Stella.
I'll jump off of Melissa's because I have a Funko that I've wanted, and I was at the park like when they were released, and I just missed out on it. Was the Indian is Jeep Funko. That was originally Comic-Con release, and then they had it at the park, and I missed out by probably hours or something, because I was at the park and doing park things, and then remembered, oh hey, yeah, this, and then check at D Street, and I think it was D Street at the time, or Wonderground, whatever it was, but yeah, they were out. So that's always on my eBay list, and I see it up there all the time, and it's $100, $200, and one of these days, maybe it'll be in my stocking or something, because that's a big purchase for a Funko. I like the $40 price that it originally was.
Well,
That's a good
for
one.
me, I'll keep it pretty recent. My trip, I forgot to do this till the end. It's more for my wife. It was a good time. Put that as a disclaimer. But I really wanted to look at those Jungle Cruise Mickey head ears. And I remembered in the morning to ask where to look for them. And I went over to Disneyana at the end of the night, and they were like, they're sold out. They've been sold out. And I was like, oh, bummer. I'm not a huge Jungle Cruise fan, but I liked the hat, and I have a huge noggin. And I was like, maybe this is the one that finally, because I've been always trying to get the train conductor one, but it's like it doesn't even try to fit. It looks like, well, it just looks terrible. Yeah.
I'm there, dude.
I don't want to quote
I feel
anything,
your
but
pain.
just if you've ever watched A League of Their Own, Tom Hanks says a quote to the umpire, and that's what I look like when I wear the hat. Just look it up.
There's no crying in baseball. That one? No, I'm just kidding.
But I went to the store and it was all sold out, so I'm pretty bummed about it because I was like, well, maybe I'll never know, or I don't even want to try to think about if it would fit. That was kind of my goal, to have real Mickey ears that went on my head. That was kind of my thing.
I know how you feel, dude. I'm right there with you. I own a pair of the Conductor Mickey ears, and that thing sits on my big dome like nothing. So, yeah, I know how it feels to not be able to get Mickey ears that fit.
Yeah.
See, this is why I need a 3D printer, okay? Because then I could size my own Mickey ears, and then I could just make them to fit my own head. Dude, you would get Mickey ears too.
I knew it. I was like, how is he going to make this pitch tie me back out to...
We need some Podketeers, man.
Podketeers.
Oh, wow.
I'm for it. Oh, man. I don't even know where to start. I will start with one of the sets that they released for the 10th anniversary of D23 was a pin set that I really, really regret not getting. They were all kind of copper toned. There was a mailbox for Carl and Ellie, service elevator for Tower of Terror. Sebastian was in there, a skull with a little mine train for Indiana Jones, Kermit with his banjo, a Haunted Mansion pin, a Disneyland pin with like a little old school 1950s television, an old Marvel Comics looking pin with, I want to say it was Iron Man flying through there, I don't remember, Donald, and then a skeleton dance pin. That set was just one of the coolest sets that I've seen in a really long time, and they release a lot of pins, okay? I'm not gonna lie, there's a bunch of pins. But that 10th anniversary one was one that I definitely regret not jumping on and getting when it was available.
Well, that was the I'm pretty sure the one you're talking about. That was the gold member gift for
I wasn't a member that year.
Gift. Yeah. So that's okay. Yeah, I remember when that came out. Those are really cool. I always thought the Kermit one, because of like how the shading is, he looks kind of funny. But that pin set is really cool.
Yeah.
Round 2. Let's rip off the other Band-Aid. I'm going to just go there because this one really does. I really wish I had this one only because they've only made one and not all three. And this is the Ezra in the Doom Buggy Parks exclusive Funko.
Mm-hmm.
They never did anything else other than Ezra. So if you have that Funko, I mean, that's pretty rad. And
they did the Haunted Mansion, what was it, the 50th was when they came out with all of these like Haunted Mansion Funkos. And they did such a good job with all of them, and they were at Target, and I was going over to all the Targets trying to find and I ended up with none of them.
Yeah, the parks had a Doom Buggy with all three of the hitchhiking ghosts that it looked like they were lit up inside of the Doom Buggy, but I don't know, the Funko had so much more charm to it that it was adorable. I would have totally loved to get that one as well.
It's a giant Doom Buggy.
Yeah.
I have that light up Doom Buggy. It's like it has like a mirrored thing, and then you click the button on the front, and and then the ghost host talks. I have that somewhere. But yeah, it's cool. But the nice thing about the Funko one is you get the whole mold of the Doom Buggy, where this one has like where like you would be sitting is like covered with clear plexiglass to have the like effect work. So it's not like the profile looks kind of weird because it's more bubbly.
Man, great choice, Mel.
I guess that means I'm up next. I'll go with a middle of the road one. Something that I can probably get, but I just haven't bothered to keep it in the Mansion verse. A few years ago, I mean, they had them for multiple years, and I just never got them. They were the Haunted Mansion, the Singing Busts Christmas ornaments. They were kind of like a caricature, cartoony version of the Singing Busts, all 5 of them from Disneyland. And I thought they were so cool. They weren't that expensive either. I think they're like $30 or something. Yeah, and every time I would go to buy them, I was already buying like $150 worth of T-shirts and stuff. So I was like, maybe next time. They always seem to be there. And then the last few times I went, they weren't there anymore. So I don't know if they're just discontinued or what, but hopefully they'll come back. that's something that if I see them again, I'm gonna snatch them right up. Because they're real fun, and I'm a huge fan of the singing busts in the Haunted Mansion. One of my favorite parts. It's such a shame that you don't get to see them for longer. You whip past them real quick, but that's I like Christmas ornaments too, so that's
There's tons of those that are on my list. So
yeah,
I get you, man.
Yeah, I got Larry and Rebecca got me a Roger Rabbit Christmas ornament one year. It's on my collectible shelf. I never put it on the tree because it goes with my Roger Rabbit stuff.
Well, that worked out. I guess the next thing for me, keeping with the store theme, there was these Crocs that. I gotcha. No.
Nice. Nice.
I'm just messing with you. No, this is kind of sad story, but still, you could probably find them out there. But the beginning of 2020, they came out with these Minnie Mouse ears, and if you guys could see, if you ever watched the after show, my wife is adamant. If we collect one Disney thing, it's Minnie Mouse ears. And they came out with these Minnie Mouse ears that were Main Street attraction ears, which were going to cover each ride they had picked, anything from Space Mountain to the Carousel to Tiki Room. And they were releasing them once a month. And in the beginning, in January 2020, there was nobody there. We went to the park. We were there on a random day because it was released near Martin Luther King Day, so we were off of work. We were going that Saturday. And we just picked one up for Space Mountain. We just were like, oh, that's cool. And she already knew about them. So we grabbed and walked out. The next month in February, it was pandemonium. They were like, everybody was there. And it was this thing that everybody had to get them. So we got that one, though. It was a Pirates of the Caribbean. Luckily, just grabbed that one. But then March came, and that's when everything got shut down. And these things became rolled out online and the Disney Store website. And it just became this, like, different thing where people were, if you didn't get it at first, you couldn't get on the website. Then they made it like a lottery system on Disney Store. It was a bummer. I heard some of them came out in Florida later in the year, but by that point, it was like you couldn't get the collections. So that was all of those ears, just in general. I think we would have bought every single one. We did end up getting Space Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, and for her birthday, I just bought the Tiki Room ones, but they're hard now to get your hands on because people got them. So any of those ears are pretty much coveted by me and my wife.
So it looks like
awesome.
that set. I just looked them up because I hadn't heard of them. It looks like they have a carousel one. Right. What else is there? Jungle Cruise,
Tea Party.
Yeah, Tea Party, Dumbo. What is this? Tinkerbell? Is that the same?
Small
collection?
World. I think that's
Peter
a Peter
Pan. Yeah, okay, Peter Pan.
It covers a lot of attractions.
Big Thunder Mountain
and
the castle. It looks like.
They are in Dumbo. They cover. They were going to do them all 12 months. So it was going to make like a thing where we'd go every month. Like
yeah, 12 of them.
Yeah, we were going to try and do that where we go like every month. This was going to be our like go to the park and get them. So it was kind of a bummer. That's one of these things that we'd hope to get the collection of all of them.
Yeah, okay, here's the full list. Just so anybody that wants to collect them, it's Space Mountain, Pirates, Mad Tea Party, Small World, Tiki Room, Peter Pan, Carousel, Dumbo, Big Thunder, Haunted Mansion, Jungle Cruise, and then the castle. I found it. Somebody posted, it's the Disney Parks, posted a nice image with the calendar, so that was easy to find.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great collectible. I mean, the key, I guess, is making sure that if you can't be there to buy it when it's released, hop on eBay in 15 minutes, and then you can buy it for 17 times what it was worth at the store.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do that. That's one of those pet peeves I have with this whole thing.
I'm there, dude. I understand. It's either that or the goat, right? On the website. One of the two.
Oh, geez.
Well, I used to like eBay a lot because when Vinylmation was a thing, people would buy, a whole box to get the series, and then they would sell their extras on eBay. And I'm lazy and I don't care about the box. I just want Sala out of the thing and then call it a day. And so they were selling them for cheaper than you could buy them at the at the store because they'd have their full line and then they would just try to get some of their money back. So I lucked out on some of those Vinylmations getting those on eBay. But now everything, resellers are just, like you said, 17 times.
There's two Vinylmations that I own that I hold very near and dear to me. One of them especially, I got one Vinylmation when Cars Land opened up. It was like an opening day Cars Land Vinylmation. It was like the big Vinylmation. And then the one that I always really wanted and finally was able to purchase was the one that says it has the Main Street Magic shop like painted on the face. So it's got a little tuxedo and everything. That, because of how much I enjoy magic, was like one of my most prized collectibles, which is now in storage. So that's great. I mean, you know, a lot of good it does me there, but, you know, I own it. So, yay.
I got one of those too. It was during our wedding time. Our niece was at the park and she bought us the blank couple Vinylmation, which is Mickey and Minnie.
Nice.
Mickey's got a tie. That was our wedding gift from her, and that, they had a movie on that, like a little short movie.
Yeah.
So we still have that. I still have that hanging out here. It's pretty cool.
Right on, man. I love it.
So what's your next one, Heyzen?
Let's see. For number 2, I think I'm going to have to go with a book that I've wanted for a really long time, but I haven't found a decent copy for a decent price, and that's a hardcover. And that is the Designing Disney, Imagineering, and the Art of the Show by John Hench. It is a book that I've been after for probably 5 or 6 years now. Anytime that I think I've found a good price, it turns out to be a paperback copy. And I want the hardcover. I don't want the paperback copy. Still on the lookout. One of these days, hopefully, I'll be able to finally get my hands on it. But it's been on my list of books for quite some time now.
Nice.
All those books, those Imagineer books, I know you have a bunch of those, Heyzen. They seem like just a plethora of stories and knowledge and all the stuff you want to know.
Amazing.
I don't know if any of them are audiobooks, but if they are, I need to put those on my listen list, because that would be a good thing, I think, to listen to.
I don't think they are, but maybe we need to have like a Discord thing where we have like story time with Heyzen, and I just like sit up on a nice comfy couch, open up a book, grab myself a nice warm tea or coffee, and I just sit there and read these books.
I would listen in.
Story time. All right. So this last one is kind of like Andrew, where he was talking about the singing bus, and this was something that I have seen in the parks multiple times when we were going multiple times, and it was always like, I'll come back, you know, whatever, this and that. And you know I'm a big sucker for Maleficent, Sleeping Beauty. And they had, in Disneyana, they had a figurine of Maleficent. And she has her goons around her. And I haven't seen anything like this. Like, Disney doesn't really, in general, doesn't really showcase that. So that's something that I would really love. And I missed the opportunity, because when I wanted to buy it, I found out, it's sold out and it's clearance. That is never going to come back. So that beauty is gone forever.
Is that like one of those like resin statues, like the foot tall ones?
Yeah, the big figurines. It's yeah.
It's like the realistic one, not like a Funko or something. It's like a statue, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, those are like they sell those at like they have like special ones at like the expo every year. So yeah, those are fantastic. I was luckily gifted a Mickey as Indiana Jones, one of those statues. So that's kind of fun.
Oh, those are cool. I've seen those before. Great choice, Mel. Great choice.
Yeah.
All right, Andrew.
Yeah, my next one is they have a, I don't know where they were sold, and I saw these in somebody's like photos of their Halloween decorations, and I think they were sold in like the early mid 2000s. They had blow mold style hitchhiking ghosts for your lawn for Halloween decorations. They're like 3 feet tall, something maybe 2 feet tall, 3 feet tall. Hitchhiking ghost like blow mold things you can put in your yard, all 3 of them, and they don't move or anything, but I thought they were the coolest thing, this like blow mold hitchhiking ghost, and I think they sold for about $100 a piece originally, and I think they might have been like Disney Store or Disney Store Online or something like that at the time. But I'll have to send you guys a photo of these because they are really cool. They're lit from the inside. Plastic, I'm assuming. But something that I would not put out in the weather in my lawn, but have proudly, set in the living room or something.
Were the ones that you're thinking of, did they have like rocks underneath them? Were they white? And had, like, rocks underneath
those.
them?
I think
Okay.
so. Yeah, they're like lit from the
Okay, so they
inside.
sounded familiar. And I remember seeing them. I didn't know that that's what they were. I thought they were just little like maquettes that you could buy at the Disney store or something.
No, they're like 2 feet tall. I'll send you a photo. But they are, they're like blow mold style, I think. Some kind lit from the inside. Decorations for your lawn, basically. I think they're about 2 feet tall. And yeah, it's like a cobblestone pathway on the bottom. You have all three of them. It's like a rock bottom. Yeah. I just sent over a photo so you guys can see. But they're Halloween decorations, and I thought they were like the coolest thing. And I want them very badly.
Okay, so I have seen these before. However, I did not know they were that tall. This is rad, dude. I want this on my list.
That's one that I've been pining over for a long time, and I've never seen them up for sale anywhere. I just completely missed them out. I think at the time they were released, I really wasn't in a position to buy much, or I think I was probably still just in college or something where I didn't have the most money in the world. So $300 on Hitchhiking Ghost would have been a little much. Today it's still a little much, but I probably would have snatched them up at that price.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. That's the thing, right? With collectibles, if you buy them when it's initially released, you end up getting the best deal, obviously. Or if you wait a month and then go to Company D with a cast member, maybe you might get lucky and, snag an even better deal there. But since the majority of us don't have that opportunity, buying them when they're released is usually the best time. The thing about collectibles, I think we've talked about this in the past, where a collectible is really only worth as much as you're willing to pay for it, right? Because if it's a collectible, obviously people want them because they bring some kind of sentimental value to them. And if a group of people are willing to pay in the hundreds or thousands or whatever the case is for that thing, obviously the price is going to get inflated, and it's worth to you that amount of money. And then again, obviously, there are collectibles that you think are going to be like the greatest thing ever, and you're able to buy a couple, and you're like, one of these days, I'm going to sell this on eBay, and nobody buys it because they produce so many that you can't sell it for half of what it was worth when you bought it, right? So you always have to be careful.
Yeah.
You never know.
That's my
how
hope with
things
some
are
of this
gonna-
stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
That it's people are going to realize that they made 1 million of these, so even though you got one, it's not worth 20 times the asking, the original price. That's why I have, if you're into collecting and you don't have your saved searches on eBay, what are you doing? Because that's my keyword searches. I get a notification every evening. Here's the new stuff for Indiana Jones Disneyland, one of my favorite eBay searches.
Nice. Ah, man, I'm like jonesing for that trio, dude. Yeah. I'm gonna have dreams about that thing now. Seriously.
So, anyway, I could talk about these mansion things all day. Because I used to do my house up for Halloween all the time. And then I got lazy, and then I got really into Christmas. So now everything's just Christmas. But Larry, I think you should take it over and before I keep rambling about this.
I'm going to keep with... I like your guys' rambling. It's cool. And this is a really cool segment. It is kind of like a inspiration for our Disney crack addict needs. Yeah. to talk about it, right? That we're all okay here. It's kind of therapy, right?
Uh-huh.
The thing, I'm sticking with the inside the park theme. I maybe you guys can help me out with this, because a long time ago, when you would be leaving the park, I can't remember if it was on the left or right side of Disneyland, they used to make custom nameplates that looked like the cast members' names. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I never got one, and it bummed me out when it went away. Oh, there. Melissa just showed us one.
Yeah.
They used to make them with they looked like the cast members' nameplates, but they had like variants of, like, they would be like, oh, here's Mickey, and then Melissa just showed us one. They had the princesses on them. I always wanted one. I always walked by so many years being like what Andrew did, like, oh, I'll get that later. It'll come around or whatever. And then they were gone. And it was like, it was shattering. And still to this day, when I walk by that booth, I trick myself, like, is it there? And I'm like,
maybe they'll have it.
That right? And it's so sad. It's like, oh gosh, I don't know. It's like a psychological sad thing to be like training your brain, like, maybe it'll come back. Maybe it'll come back. And yeah, every time I'm always like, gosh, I just wanted one just to have, like, put it out to display it, or put it on a backpack, or just to always have it. And now I regret that.
Yeah. A few years ago, I must have been probably 5 or 6 years ago. Now they had in Tomorrowland, they had some where they would write your name in was it Arabic?
Yeah. I did get that one.
So yeah, I liked the pass holder one they had at the time was cool. It was the vintage Star Tours colors, the orange and blue. That's the one I got. Those were cool. So yeah, I wish I would have got the name tag with my name on it. D23, I bought one that said Andy. But it was like a weird one. It had like Mickey ears on it. It's shaped like a Mickey head, and it says Andy. I think it's like a Mouseketeer kind of thing. But yeah, D23 is a good source for that. And I was just looking on eBay at name tags. I looked up Disneyland name tag, and the first 10 that came up all said Larry. So if you want your own, there's a million Larrys on eBay right now.
Okay, well maybe I should just do one of those.
or
3D printer.
Yeah.
Huh? I'm saying,
put it on the board.
Look, not only could I make you your Disney inspired name tag, but we could also make Podketeers name tags however we want them to.
Mm-hmm.
Just another reason to get it.
Boom.
Right?
But I wanted in 4D to squirt water at people.
I can make that happen. I can make that happen for you, sir.
Just get a little
we'll put
bit
a little
of
flour on there.
Tubing.
Be like, come in, smell the flour.
Waka waka.
Yeah. So Heyzen, I think you got to wrap us up here.
All right. Okay. So I got to make this a good one. So I don't know about all of you, but one thing my wife and I like to do is we always have these like dreaming sessions, right? Where we're like, okay, one day when we own a bigger house, we're going to have one room that's all Disney. Like our movie room will be all Disney. And in that room, we're going to have this and this and this and this. And we like plan this out. Like we blue sky what we want, our house to one day look like. One thing that I would like in that room or in my office or, Podketeer studio, whatever, wherever we end up putting it, doesn't matter. I want an original Sam McKim map like the ones that they sold in the late 50s at the park. The original maps that they sold, there was actually 3 versions that got released back in 1958. And the second version of it is one of the hardest ones to find right now. In general, all 3 versions of the map are very, very similar. I think the first one had the Skyliner, or the Viewliner rather, in Tomorrowland, because Walt always liked to put like new attractions in the maps kind of as a teaser for things to come. But then when the second version of that map appeared, the Viewliner was gone, and then it had a different color water for the Jungle Cruise, and then it had Cascade Peak. By the time that they reached the final version of that map, Cascade Peak was missing. And so the version with Cascade Peak is the hardest one to find. that's the one I would want to get. So that original San Joaquin map with Cascade Peak, especially considering that area of the park to me was so sentimental because I never had an opportunity to go through Nature's Wonderland, visit the Rainbow Caverns, and to have that little piece in the map would be extra special to me. So that is one thing that I would like to own that I currently do not.
That's gonna be yeah. You need to set that eBay search thing for you, so it tells you whenever somebody lists something. Disneyland map, Cascade Peak. I just looked it up, and there's nothing right now. But who knows?
You never know.
It's really difficult to find. I mean, the other two versions of that map go up for sale. I don't want to say like extremely frequently, right? But they've been known to go for sale. And I mean, honestly, if I could own any Disneyland map, like any of those large ones, I think I would be happy if I could frame one, especially one in really good condition. We saw a whole bunch of those when we went to that exhibit, That's from Disneyland, when Richard Kraft was selling all of his stuff. And I remember just drooling over a lot of that stuff. But they're very expensive. And in order to get one of those maps, you also need this thing called money. And so until I have set amount of money to purchase it, I just have to, be patient, and hopefully one day, remember we mentioned winning the lottery, we were going to get Magic Keys for All. As part of that lottery win, I also want a map made by Sam McKim.
Sure. Put it in there. Put it on the tab. Go for it.
All right. Well, that was awesome. Andrew, I'm going to have dreams about those hitchhiking ghosts now for real. You don't understand. I'm gonna dream about those things. So
I forgot about them for a long time, and then this experiment, this coming up with the list, I was like, oh yeah, those things. So yeah, that's I think if we make this a regular thing, I'm gonna have a lot of those moments of, oh yeah, I remember I wanted that thing then. So I think it's gonna be fun to explore this topic again.
Well, it came at a really great time, right? Because this conversation actually came up on the Discord server because FGP Squad member Heather, quick shout out to her, recently went to a collectible shop here in Southern California called Frankensons. And while she was there, she found Haunted Mansion pins based on the gingerbread houses. And honestly, I didn't even know that those existed until she posted a picture of them.
Right, neither did I.
Yeah, I saw them. I flipped. I felt like I needed those in my life. And so I think this segment is just coming at a really great time because I'm sure that we all have things that we want. We all have these things that we desire that we couldn't get at one point or another. So if you're on Discord, over on Instagram, on Facebook, join the conversation. Post a picture, tell us about something that you've always wanted in the parks, and the next time we do this segment, we'll mention the item that you were talking about as part of that segment. Because I'm sure that Andrew needs a bigger list on eBay, and I need more stuff to dream about to add to the wall where Sam McKim's map is going to be.
I mean, I've already got half the stuff you guys wrote down, or you talked about. I've written down to put into my eBay search. So yeah, it's I'm gonna be studying the Discord when this episode comes out to see what everybody else wants, because I'm probably gonna want it too.
I think if it gets big enough, you know how we have like a Disney food section and just like an FGP section, and like we kind of break it up. If it gets big enough, we'll just create our own like collectible section. And it'll just be dedicated. And who knows? I mean, if somebody has something that they want to sell, use the Discord server to get in contact with somebody and, sell it to them or something.
Yeah, sell it to Andrew first.
Yeah. Well, we have had members on Discord. Speaking of the FGP Squad, Miguel had a few books and a few collectibles that he didn't want, and he didn't even sell them. He just said, "Hey, whoever wants these, just get in contact with me and I'll mail them out, or we'll, figure out a meetup time." So it's a great spot. I mean, to just connect with other people, sell items, give stuff away, whatever you want. Again, Discord, head over to the blog post for this episode, podketeers.com/374 or podketeers.com. Scroll down, you'll see the invite to join us over on Discord. I think that's going to wrap it up for this episode. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I think this is a marathon stretch. So, let's get out of here.
Thanks for hanging in there, guys.
Right? So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
Oh, God.